Welcome to my tutorial playthrough for Splatterhouse 2 for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, this is a great game. I think I still prefer the first one, but this was actually the first Splatterhouse game that I played. I used to rent it, and then eventually I ended up owning it. And, I love the game. I have beaten the final level on the Game Master difficulty, but not the entire game, just the final level, which only allows you to take 2 hits before you die. But you're not going to see that level of mastery on the final level in this playthrough, since that was back in the 90s, so I didn't really remember what I did. But, yeah, I'll just try to, I'm going to have a version that has no commentary, so you can just watch the game and hear the game as it is. And then I'll have a version for, a little extra entertainment with the commentary, if you like that kind of thing. I'll try to break down some things that may not be completely obvious. But, yeah, you pretty much have a punch. And if you duck and punch, you do a kick. And if you jump up diagonally and then hold down and kick just as you hit the ground, you'll do a slide. It's a little tricky to explain, but I do use it maybe once in the game. I barely use it. But yeah, for that part, it's super easy. You can pretty much just go up to the thing and punch it. There's a safe spot where you can stand and not even get hit by it if you punch it fast enough. But I did get hit once there. But yeah, so the way I did this playthrough is I played it pretty much legitimately until the final level, where I saved states on the checkpoints so that I didn't have to redo the entire level, because I already beat the game before, so I just wanted to complete it for the playthrough. So that part was technically, not legit, I guess you could say. But I mean, I could have easily just gone back and redone the levels once I've learned them, the sections I mean. But I just wanted to bang it out. But yeah, for this part, you just want to get used to the way the guys jump. They can't punch here. All they can do is jump. So, they're going to always come down from the left and right sides of the screen first. So, just be ready for them to come down and just try to take them out fast, because if you wait too long, that's when it gets hard, because then you get overcrowded with a bunch of them. And it's not the most precise game with the large character. It can be a little clunky. For these guys, I'd say just take your time. A lot of times just, duck kicking, they'll walk into your duck kicks, but you got to be careful of their jumps. And, just jump over the spikes, obviously. You can walk on those spikes when they're coming out a little bit of the ground, but when they come to a certain height, they will hit you. But there's some leniency with that. And, see, I get a little sloppy here, but it's good enough. Here, just duck and try to, slam them with the bone when they're in range. It's an easy way to kill them, but if you get a little bit too close, you will get hit. It's pretty much like the bone and their punch have about the same range, so you have to be a little sneaky with it to get it in. Just club these two guys, club one, jump over it, club it, and jump over it. The patterns pretty much remain the same, so once you find a way to move through an area, you can usually repeat it with practice. As with a lot of old games. Now, for this part, I played it kind of sloppily, but it worked. You only have to jump kick the eyes. As long as you can dodge, most of the heads, you'll be alright. It doesn't take that many hits. For the first wave, you just want to punch them like shown, then jump this, kick them in the eye again for the second hit. That one, I think you have to stand right up on the head, and I didn't know that, but I'm not demonstrating it, obviously, there. So I do get hit by those different moving ones. But when he does that, you do the same thing again with punching them, to the left. I got sloppy here and hitting to that. I mean, this is a sloppy boss playthrough. Got to take a little piss, I mean, it's hard holding it in for the whole level. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how long this game took me when I rebeat it. I was going to check, but I forgot to check before I started the commentary, but I'll probably add that in the description. It wasn't too much time. But I'll get the exact number. Since I have all the unedited footage, I just add up the number and I can see how long I took. For this, you pretty much want to, you're going to have to memorize how the fish come out, but you want to jump and kick so that you can hit them, and you can knock a lot of these guys into the water. They'll jump back and then you punch them and they fall in the water like that. Or you jump kick them, you can jump kick them. I like jump kicking them when they're airborne. And as usual, if you stay low and do your kicks, a lot of times they won't hit you unless they jump on you. So just, try to play it carefully and take those assholes out. striking rapidly usually ends up landing a hit if you're doing the right type of hit in this game. Most of the time, enemies cannot get through that if you're rapidly striking and you're, of course, doing the right type of hit, either a standing punch or a kick, jump kick, whatever the case may be. Like when you're jump kicking, you can rapidly jump kick as you're in the air. And that means you don't have to time it as well because you can, with the if you're hitting it rapidly, it'll probably land. It's one good thing to do. Now this boss is very easy once you know how he's going to come down. It's just a matter of knowing how these things descend, pretty much. You can get the chainsaw. I think to get the chainsaw, you have to throw the scissors at the chainsaw, and it's more powerful. But if you punch or kick the chainsaw, you won't get it. But yeah, for the scissors, you just kick them, as they're coming at you from this angle. You can always do it that way. It's very easy. The chainsaw, move around so it doesn't appear right on you, but just strike it when it comes out with a jump kick or a punch. I'm just getting rid of the scissors here because I don't use them. But all you do is just then sit on this right side and just keep punching, and this guy will get jammed up in your punches and just die. The shit that comes out of him when you kill him, I don't think it'll hurt you, but the vomit will hurt you. Of course, the vomit on the ground will still hurt you even when it's on the ground, so be careful of that vomit. As you saw me take a hit sloppily from that. Then get over his vomit and just start punching this one on the left. Now just stay ducked because these things will just come down and hit you. And they'll do it a few times, so just wait, in that position. And now you can start getting ready to fight them. Just dodge the one on the right, Just keep hitting the one on the left and dodge the vomit on the right. And when this guy dies, move over and take over and just take out this asshole on the right. The middle right, I guess you'd say. Very simple once you know the pattern. It's just a matter of knowing where they're going to come out. That's all it really is. Now, at this point, you pretty much beat it, but you still have to punch the heart. And maybe take this time to take a little urination break, because you don't get a lot of time to take a piss in the game. And, just keep punching at that heart. You can only punch it at a certain time, but as long as you keep punching it, you'll hit it when you're supposed to. You don't want to walk into it, because it can hurt you. But, it's pretty fucking easy to avoid. I think I played this level pretty smoothly, more smooth than some of my other levels that were kind of sloppy. But it'll get the job done. Yeah, so basically here, just keep walking to the right. You don't really want to stop because that thing will catch up to you, and then you get stuck on that octopus and killed. So just keep walking. Only punch when you need to. Don't mash the button because that'll just slow you down. Only punch when the guys are coming right at you or you're right in range to punch one of them. Just punch it once and keep moving. There are certain ones that kind of run at you and charge. They're kind of sneaky, so be aware of them. If you see them, get ready for them to charge at you. But it's just memorization. You'll memorize that and learn that pretty easily. Here, I prefer not to do this section, so I just jump in the pit. Because if you fall in the pit, you'll end up doing this section anyway, so I'd rather just not take any extra damage up on the top layer. So I come down here immediately, and then, just be aware of these guys. Try to take them out as they come. This is just, of course, like the rest of the game, memorizing where the enemies are going to come at. This guy always crawls at you when you throw the head at him, so just be ready to kick him, because that's the only way you'll be able to hit him. I got a little sloppy there and, took a spike, and I get sloppy at the end again. But you don't, you can play it better than that. You don't have to do that well on normal, though, on a lot of these parts. As long as you're, pretty decent at a part, you'll probably get through. You get checkpoints in this game, and you have unlimited continues and passwords. But the slowdown kind of messes me up sometimes, as you can see. But if you lose all your lives, you'll start the beginning of the entire level. But if you lose one life, you'll start at the last checkpoint you got to with full life. So, you'll get plenty of practice that way. But yeah, once you beat this, then you're already at the boss. So that's why I like to go straight down instead of doing that upper area. Because I'm probably going to fall in the upper area anyway. It's hard not to fall. So yeah, for this, you want to wait for him to slide and then try to hit him on his way as he's passing you. Try to come down on him with a jump kick and be ready to jump again. Sometimes you can do it where you can do it rapidly and you can just keep hitting him each time he slides and get him in a loop. But in this particular attempt, I was unable to do that. If you do it fast enough, you can get him in that loop. Yeah, you could hit him again there, but so you see I missed the second slide, but you could keep repeating that and he'll just die. You know, just keep looping him. But, I mean, you don't have to do that. Just wait for him to slide. If you can't do it, just do what I did. And just... You got to get used to the timing a little bit because you can easily land on him and take damage, as you saw. So it's a little tricky. It's, you know, just muscle memory practice a little bit. Use save states to practice these games on an emulator, you know, to get the parts down. That's the best way to beat these games. And then for this guy, what did I do? I started kicking him. Yeah, then I got him. I was able to get him in a corner. And see, once he was in this corner, I just kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch. I just alternate kick and punch pretty much. And he got stuck in that loop because usually he'll be on the ground for the first hit, then he'll try to jump. But if you're already punching, you'll hit him when he tries to jump. And then kick again, he'll be on the ground again, and punch when he'll try to jump again. So he gets jammed in that corner. So I like doing that. I thought that was pretty useful. Of course, there's different ways that people play these bosses and stuff. And of course, I only beat these guys usually once in this video, so I didn't really refine it. I just posted like what happened when I beat the parts like the first time. Aside from the first 3 levels, I actually redid the first 3 levels because I had the emulator set wrong, where I had jump set to rapid fire, the jump button, and it was making me do these short little bullshitty jumps, and I was falling in pits like crazy. And I managed to beat the levels in like an hour. It took me like a fucking hour to beat 3 levels because my jumps were all fucked up. So I didn't want to post that. I decided to redo the first 3 levels. So here, yeah, you may take some damage, but you fought these guys before. Once you get the shotgun, you're pretty much good to go. So just, you know, focus on making it up to the shotgun, and you'll be good. Just, you know, don't shoot the guys when they're jumping. Obviously, try to shoot them when they're grounded. You know, because they'll jump over the shots like that. So try to be careful with that. But yeah, very simple. Just, you know, don't do that. Don't step in the vomit, obviously. And I think it can hit you when it's coming down too, but I'm not sure. I never got hit by it when it was coming down, I don't think. But just avoid it is the general idea. I like to jump over it to be safe, because sometimes it's picky. You know, if it didn't disappear fully, you'll take the hit. It can be really, you know, finicky with that. So I play it safe. This part's extremely easy. You know, once you know what to do, you shouldn't even take any damage here. You know, just do your kicks. You know, you got to watch out for some of the hands will jump kind of far, so you'll have to expect that. But you'll have an idea of when they're going to do that. You may have to play it a few times, but you'll know what to expect after a little while. I mean, if you do take one hit, it's probably not a big deal unless you're, you know, worst case, if you die here, then you can start here. It's a checkpoint, so but you don't really want to waste a life on here once you know. You have to practice first, of course, to get the game down. You're not going to beat it. You're not going to beat everything on your first try. But once you have it down, it should be very easy. Shouldn't take long to be able to get this section down. And this next section could be tricky unless you do what I show you right here, which is I constantly hold down the right. I don't stop walking to the right. And it ensures a few things, but I continually walk to the right. And I use my jump kicks. I'll do 2 jump kicks on an enemy as soon as it appears. And I do not stop holding down right except for one part of the level. See, if you keep holding right, the enemies will run away from you, the ones that are trying to chase you. So just do not stop. It looks like you should stop and deal with them, but don't do it. Just keep going. Now there's one part. See, here I stopped for a moment, then I did a jump kick. You have to do that at that one part. But aside from that, you can just keep running to the right and just keep jump kicking. As long as you're accurate with your shots, you'll be fine. So I'd recommend doing it that way. It's a real smooth way to do that section, I found. This part can be very annoying with these little assholes because they move around on the ground and they pop up in weird ways. And you can't always jump over them when you think you should be able to. But if you follow this pattern of you see how I'm moving, if you follow the way that I'm moving through here, you'll pretty much, it works every time. Though I don't think this was a great execution of it. So, you can definitely tighten up some of the later parts. I get a little sloppy here, I think. See, it gets dangerous. It's kind of hard to sometimes manage them. There is ways to do it consistently. If you got to memorize, you got to memorize a path that works because the game's always the same. So if you memorize a path, you can always repeat it as long as you're accurate with your inputs. But obviously mine wasn't too great. I think I've done better on that part before, but not that time. This guy's really easy if you take your time. I wouldn't try to rush it. Make sure you're punching when he throws the shit, or so you can destroy them. So, because you want to try to stay close to him if you can, so you can get the hits in. You don't want to be too far back. See, some of them are low, so sometimes you want to be kicking, but if you take a few hits from those, you'll be fine. You only have to hit them a few times to beat them. So if you take your time, be patient. Throw the vials when you think you have an opening, you know, because there's always shit like blocking your way. So you got to try to find an opening when you throw it. But you don't have to hit them with throwing them. It's good to get in extra hits. But you can also jump kick him if you can get close enough. Which I think sometimes I do end up getting close to him. You just got to be a little patient. Don't try to rush past the enemies or anything. You know, just play it kind of slowly and patiently. You're not timed. You know, you're not going to run out of time. So I would just say take your time, avoid everything, try to get in close when you can. See, like I got that hit. It didn't take much. Then you can urinate on his dead corpse if you like, if you're into that kind of thing. I know I'm into that, so you know that's the first thing I do. Even when people, you know, even when other people are watching, it just makes it a little kinkier, you know, when other people in the lab are watching. But, you know, it's fun. So, the next level. Oh, yeah, it's this. So, yeah, for this, I had kind of a fast technique that I show. But it may not be the best because it's not the easiest thing to pull off. But it is an option if you want to be a little adventurous. You can be a little bit more aggressive. And I'd recommend doing it that way, but that's just my play style. I'm usually pretty aggressive. You know, make the hit or die trying. I usually can be kind of aggressive, and I play kind of dangerous sometimes. But yeah, that part is. I find it easier to do it that way because it's kind of a pain in the ass if you let all the heads come out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, for the first part, you want to go all the way to the left, and when the hands come out, you're pretty much just going to keep kicking. And that'll take out all the hands, except for the ones that leap high. See, like this one. Be ready to punch for that. And if you keep mashing punch, it doesn't always seem to land. Sometimes you take the hit anyway, so I would just try to time your punches a little bit for that. But for this, I do a jump kick to start, jump kick that one, and then I just use all different variation of kicks and jump kicks to take out all the heads. Now, it's not the easiest thing to do, as you can see, but it did work, and that's what I ended up doing. So I don't have another good technique to explain because I didn't really try anything else too much. You know, whatever worked is what I ended up doing. Now, I do get hit on the last wave of heads, but by that point, it doesn't even matter. Because I think you only have to hit this thing with one punch, and you beat the level. It's quite easy. Don't forget to take a piss on his, you know, expensive statues. It's always worth doing that. Yeah, so now we're getting pretty far. You're coming up near the end of the game. This level is really not that hard. It's pretty damn easy. And so is the previous level. I think those are two of the easier levels. The 8th level can be tough, though. It's a little tricky. It's short, but it's a little tricky. Yeah, so for this, you're just going to want to get used to punching and kicking these heads as they appear. And that's just going to be a muscle memory practice thing. I mean, there's not much I can say about that. The order is always the same. So, you know, just find what works for you. Find what you're comfortable with in dealing with them, you know, jump kicking or whatever. And once you find that groove, then you'll be good for this part. You'll be able to pull it off. This part can take a little practice, not the easiest part. So you can definitely take a little practice. I know it took me some attempts. But yeah, see, I barely made it through, but it was good enough. And this is yet another checkpoint. So if you die here, you will start here with full life. Pretty much anytime you go to a new screen or a new environment, it's a checkpoint in this game. So what I ended up doing here was I just kind of take the hits and just slide in there. You know, I just do my slides. This is the only time when I really use the slide. See how fast it kills that guy, though? Extremely fast. So yeah, you know, get a little action. Urinate on your girlfriend, you know, whatever you got to do. It's tough times, man. It's, you know, it's a stressful environment. So I mean, you got to do whatever it takes to get through it sometimes. You know, take drugs, you know, kinky sex, whatever, man. You gotta get through this. You know, you can always reflect on it later, but for now, it's just important to get through the situation. That part is really easy. That's why I didn't really say anything about it. I mean, just stay on the right side of the screen pretty much. Turn around to punch the occasional orb. That's all you really got to do. There's really not much to say about that. But for the previous part, definitely do what I showed with the sliding. You know, if you got to take some hits, it's okay, but get used to sliding. At least learn how to do it. If I didn't explain it well enough, just ask me in the comments. I'll try to explain it better. like I said, I always respond to feedback, and I'm also open to doing all kinds of different videos too. This part is tricky. This is where it gets hard. At first, I didn't understand the pattern of these falling bricks, because if you try to dodge them as they appear, you're probably going to get hit. It's very hard to react in time. So the trick here was, notice how they kind of start out wide, and then each time they fall, they get a little closer together. And then when they're when they get all the way close together, they fall down a lot of times as a single brick in the middle. And then they'll start spreading back out again, it seems, right? They'll start falling farther apart again, the two bricks. So try to stay in between them and try to keep an eye on how they're like closing in and moving apart. That's all I can really say. You have to just like kind of memorize it and read it. I was just starting to learn that part when I beat it, so that's why I didn't even do it that well. But it was good enough, because what I did for the last level, that's the only part where I kind of cheated, and I made a save state on each checkpoint, so I didn't have to redo the entire level again. And yeah, get a little action here, because it's going to be a long fight. And then, yeah, so this is the only part where I really cheated. For this, just punch these things, jump, and throw them. And, you know, don't worry if the eye's open or not. Usually it is if you do it this way. I pretty much always land them. So don't even look at the thing on the left. Don't even worry about. Don't even shift your eyes to the left of the screen. Focus on hitting these things and jumping and throwing them. That's all you got to focus on. Do not get too close to the edge, because see, look, you can't grab them if they're all the way on the edge of the screen. So that's why I stay a little bit further to the left. And, you know, that's about it. Just keep grabbing them, jumping, and throwing them, and try to dodge what you can. And it's pretty fucking easy. It's not hard. So I shouldn't have too much trouble. Now, this part can be tricky, especially the bat at the end gives me a lot of trouble. But this is the final boss. But yeah, this was the only level where I cheated a little bit. Like I said, I saved state on the beginning of the sections. But I still had to do each section without losing a life. So I figured that's all I really need to show for a playthrough, since I'm putting it together as a playthrough. And I've beaten the game before. Like I said, I've beaten this on the hardest difficulty. This level only. But I mean, you know, eventually I would get it down. If it was my first time playing through the game, I would just do everything completely legit. I wouldn't. I'd use save states only for practice. For the first part, you just use your kicks and try to kick out two heads before moving forward and punching the thing on the side. For this part, with the wolf heads, just stand here, punch a wolf head, walk forward, punch the next wolf head, then jump kick the thing immediately so it can't move. See, step forward, jump kick. Punch, step forward, punch, jump kick. Then for this part, this is the most annoying part to me, but once you get him in a rhythm, you can kind of lock him in. You just got to be facing the right way, and he'll go into your punches. If you do not hit him fast enough, you got to start the whole sequence over again. He turns back into the fucking guy, and you got to do the wolf head thing again. And then you got to fight the bat again. So it's a pain in the ass if you fuck it up. That's the hardest part. But yeah, so, you know, that's my playthrough of this game. And, you know, I hope the commentary is a little bit helpful. I'll post both versions. And yeah, the game is not too hard overall. I still like the first one better. I like the environments better. I just like the flow of the gameplay better than the first one. And I ended up getting the first one way later for the TurboGrafx 16 when the system was pretty much dead. And, you know, I ended up loving it, but I still like the first one better. So I'd recommend playing that on arcade or FM Towns Marty for the best versions, or TurboGrafx 16 is a great version too if you don't have access to those. But on emulation, you know, you pretty much have access to everything now, so that's how I do it. But yeah, thanks for watching.